I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who smiles through heartbreak. But that night, I stood in the corner of that beautifully lit hall with a glass of wine in my hand, and a secret in my heart that would change everything. My name is Sophia, and for the longest time I believed in love stories that end with happily ever after. 3 years ago I was madly in love with a man named Ryan. He was charming, confident, and he had this way of looking at me like I was the only woman in the world. He told me he was a former army captain, that he'd led dangerous missions and saved lives. I believed every word. I wore my heart on my sleeve and gave him everything. Until the day he disappeared. No explicación. Just a short message saying he needed space. 2 months later I found out he had moved on with someone new, my own distant cousin Lena. And now here we were at her engagement party. Lena had spent the entire evening walking around on his arm, loudly telling everyone how lucky she was to have found a real hero. He's not like these other men, she said, her voice carrying across the room. Ryan actually saved people. He has medals, stories. He's the real deal. I felt my chest tighten. Not with jealousy, with something much heavier. Because I knew the truth she refused to see. And I had the proof pinned right above my heart. I wore a simple black dress that night. But on my left shoulder was a small, elegant silver pin. Most people wouldn't notice it. But I knew Ryan would. Because that pin didn't belong to him. It never did. Lena spotted me across the room and waved me over with that bright, proud smile. Sophia. Come meet my fiancé properly. Ryan, this is my cousin Sophia. He turned. Our eyes met. And for the first time in 3 years, I saw real fear flash across the face of the man who once claimed to be unbreakable. Ryan's smile froze. His eyes dropped immediately to the silver pin on my dress. I watched his face lose all its color. The confident hero everyone had been praising suddenly looked like a man who wanted the ground to swallow him whole. Lena didn't notice at first. She kept talking. Ryan, Sophia is family. She's been through a lot too, but she's so strong. You two should actually get along great. I smiled softly and extended my hand. Nice to finally meet the hero I've heard so much about. He shook my hand, but his palm was cold and damp. Sophia, he whispered under his breath, barely audible. That was the moment everything I had buried came rushing back. The late-night calls where he told me about his fake deployments. The way he cried on my shoulder talking about brothers he never lost. The money I gave him for veterans' causes that never existed. And worst of all, the way he used my own brother's real story and twisted it into his own. My brother Daniel had been the real soldier. He served with honor and came home with that very silver pin, a special commendation for bravery. Daniel passed away 2 years ago from injuries he sustained overseas. Ryan had met him only once at a family dinner, and that was enough for him to steal pieces of Daniel's life and wear them like they were his own. When Ryan left me, he didn't just break my heart. He took the memory of my brother and made it part of his lie. I spent months shattered, crying in silence, wondering why I wasn't enough. But pain has a way of turning into quiet strength. I started digging. I found old photos, documents, and witnesses who confirmed Ryan was never deployed where he claimed. He was never even a captain. The entire hero story was built on stolen valor and broken trust. Lena kept bragging beside us, completely unaware. Tell them about the rescue mission, babe. The one where you carried 2 men to safety. Ryan's voice cracked. Lena, not now. I gently touched the pin on my shoulder. This was my brother Daniel's, I said calmly, loud enough for the small group around us to hear. He earned it. He gave everything for it. The silence that followed was deafening. Ryan stepped back, his composure completely gone. The man who loved being the center of attention suddenly couldn't breathe. Lena looked between us, confused, her perfect night crumbling in real time. That night, the truth spread faster than I ever could have planned. People started asking questions. Old friends of Daniel's were in the room and they stepped forward, confirming everything. Ryan's carefully built image collapsed in front of the woman he had promised forever to. Lena didn't yell. She just looked at him with tears in her eyes and whispered, "Was any of it real?" He had no answer. I didn't stay to watch the full destruction. I didn't need to. The look on his face when he saw my brother's pin was enough. For the first time in years, I felt peace. Not because I destroyed him, but because I finally took back the truth. A few weeks later, Lena reached out. She apologized. She told me she had called off the wedding. She said my quiet courage gave her the strength to walk away before it was too late. As for Ryan, the hero mask was gone. And without it, no one wanted the man underneath. Today I still wear my brother's pin with pride. It reminds me that real heroes don't need to brag. They don't need to lie. And sometimes, the strongest revenge isn't loud or cruel. It's simply choosing to speak the truth with grace, even when your heart is still healing. If someone has ever broken your trust and tried to rewrite your story, remember this. Your truth is your power. Wear it proudly. One day, the right moment will come, and the person who hurt you will have no choice but to face it. I'm Sophia, and I finally found my peace. I hope you find yours too. Thank you for listening.